My sister-in-law is potentially lying about giving birth. My brother defened her. It's so weird. I, 22F, have an older brother, John 32M, who has been with his fiancée, Jane 30F, for 4 years. They have a 4-month-old. Jane found out she was pregnant at 5.5 weeks and immediately called my mum to tell her. Mum was confused but still very excited. Jane said she was going to tell John when he got back from his work trip. A few hours later she called again, sobbing, saying she has insatiable cravings. Mum made a joke like, "Isn't it a bit early for cravings?" and Jane went off on her. She started yelling about how this was her pregnancy and no one else's. It was an odd reaction. She also apologized for her outburst by blaming it on hormones. When my brother returned from his trip, him and Jane left to stay at her mother's and we didn't see her until after the baby was born. John said this was because Jane was afraid of losing the pregnancy and wanted to be with her mum and we needed to respect boundaries. Whenever someone would ask about Jane or the baby, they would shut it down with vague answers like, "Every pregnancy is different," or "She's carrying small," which isn't unusual. They barely shared anything about the pregnancy. No ultrasound pictures, no baby shower, and Jane didn't want anyone around during the delivery. I also discovered that every craving she listed came from one article about pregnancy cravings. She even listed multiple items in the same order as the article. When the baby was born, we were finally allowed to see Jane and John, and baby of course. It was very bittersweet as we all wished we could have been there for Jane to help out, but Jane and John both reassured us that we did help out by staying away during the pregnancy. The weirdest part though is how Jane describes the birth. She claims she had an epidural via 4 drip into her hand, which is not how those are administered. When I asked clarifying questions, thinking she had gotten confused, which is understandable, she shut down and refused to answer, like how she would during the pregnancy. She said the baby had latching issues because he was born with no umbilical cord stump. This can technically happen, but it's a rare and fatal medical condition that their baby does not have. The final straw was when she told us that the baby basically fell out of her within an hour of being in labor, despite my brother telling us how hard the birth was, and even stating that was why they weren't going to try for any more kids. Mum is on the same side as me, and has been noting this inconsistencies and inaccuracies but doesn't know how to bring it up. And their reactions don't help. A few days ago, my brother texted Mum saying her doubt of Jane is disrespectful and they both want full apologies from the both of us for bullying Jane about her pregnancy/labor. I haven't made any outright accusations about it, nor have I said any of this to Jane. I've only asked questions when she brings the birth/pregnancy up. Am I the asshole for having doubts? Sharp comment 1. The reality is that nothing much adds up, but there is one reality you can buy into. Your brother and his fiancée have a baby that is theirs. You can remain out of their lives forever or let your obsession go and enjoy your niece/nephew. Your choice, but you would be an AH if you chose Optio. Interesting comment. It seems like maybe they used a surrogate and are ashamed of it? Interesting comment 2. There are easier explanations. They used a surrogate, they adopted and don't want to risk anyone telling the child before they are ready. He cheated and the baby has a different bio mom. Probably one of those, if anything, probably not stole a baby. Or one of her much younger family members got pregnant and there is a double-layered shame thing happening. Honest comment. Honestly, given that OP makes it sound like she immediately started investigating all of the Sills claims, I have to wonder if OP and her mother are the sort of person to declare an adopted child or one born through surrogacy as not my real niece/nephew/grandchild, or use it to undermine Sill with some "you're not the real parent, only my brother is." She also claims that she hasn't said any of these things to her Sill but somehow her brother knows enough about it to call her out? So either she's lying about not saying it to Sill, or she has been talking about Sill to her brother behind Sill's back. Or I guess OP's brother is just some kind of mind reader.